Welcome to another episode of Amplify with Adam. Today we have Don here from IKS Industries. Don, thanks for taking a little time and joining us today, man.
Thank you for having me, Adam. Nice to see your face.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what we'd love to hear, just a little intro about you and IKS, how you guys got started and, what's the origin story there?
We started in 2005. I was a production manager at a larger production facility, and I just didn't like how we were treating our associates. I felt that there were better ways to create a work environment. So that was our biggest goal here. Since we started in 2005, we've won Business of the Year twice. But everything goes around what the associates do.
Mm-hmm.
So Xometry, to be honest with you, was again kind of a new thing, a new way of thinking. But I've really appreciated how we felt like family with you guys. So our associates get to really dive in and be part of a team, and that's what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys started in 2005. It sounded like you had some manufacturing experience before.
That is correct.
Is that kind of your whole career? You've been in the manufacturing industry, or
no? My bachelor's degree is in mortuary science. So
okay, that's interesting.
But manufacturing is about people. Everybody can buy machines. Everybody can, has a part. It's finding the right people to put with those machines and those parts that move us forward. So for me, I just took manufacturing, looked at it from the other end. Instead of looking at it from the technical side, I looked at it from the human side.
That's awesome. So is there a big emphasis on like educating the right people for your shop, and like it's a cultural fit and you feel like you can get them up to speed on the technical side?
It's about culture. Yep, it is. It's one of the first things we did here is we got rid of the brake buzzers. So there's no brake bells. People come in, you do your work, you produce and you go home. And if you got to do something in the middle of the day, you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And that's held us really well going through the pandemic because we were already kind of situated to work around not being structured in that 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So yeah, what was last year like for you guys? I mean, were you taking on more Xometry work as local work went down, or
Yep.
what were kind of the trends throughout that year for you?
The trends were odd. I mean, in the sense that most of our large customers that we've had for 15 years were down,
Mm-hmm.
but most of them sell internationally. So they build equipment in the States and they ship it overseas. With the pandemic, they couldn't get their techs over to do the installs. So we did have to change our focus. Xometry was a large part of that. The flexibility of being able to, on days where I can see a couple days ahead and go, okay, we've got some room in our production, be able to go onto your site, search through for that item that matches us and take it has been huge. So it's been a great growth potential. We've actually looked at what we can do inside the facility to add more equipment that matches what we see currently on your job boards.
Oh, that's interesting. I was going to ask, so like, with some of the larger customers being a little down last year, did you start taking on any work that was a little, like a little outside of what your normal process?
Outside the box. Yep. Outside of where we would normally feel comfortable, and you kind of, you grow into it. But again, the technology side of this industry has really changed with people being able to go out on forums, Practical Machinist, CNC Zone, and I'm sure you'll have that out. There was a trademark.
No, there's no editing out, man. This is it's a Xometry posted thing, but this is about you guys,
Yeah, it's literally allowed people a large world of people, international, local, to be together. Where when I first started in manufacturing, it was only what your local community, the local manufacturers knew. So the knowledge base has really changed.
Yeah, so that community is really interesting because I see the manufacturing space, especially on the digital footprint, it's very collaborative. It seems like on Reddit threads, Facebook. When you were getting in mortuary sciences, like, did you tap into that community at all, or have you found folks that if you're having trouble with a particular part or whatever, you can kind of lean on, or kind of impact in that community?
Yeah, we really had to grow that community. I mean, Facebook, Reddit, and all the rest were not something I grew up with. So I don't actually lean on it that much, but our shop associates do.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when they have problems or questions, instead of trying to struggle through it, it's so easy just to type it in there. Somebody's done it before. Somebody has that knowledge, and they're happy to give it.
Yeah, no, it's a really powerful thing that I've noticed. And, a lot of times small businesses can be competitive, right? But in the manufacturing industry, it feels like if anyone has done it, they're willing to pass along that
Yep.
expertise. Uh,
Yep.
Speaking of passing along expertise, so, you guys have been around for what, 16 years now.
Yep.
If you were talking to your younger self or someone that was kind of interested in getting in the manufacturing space, what kind of advice would you give them on, getting started with a shop and getting started in the space?
I think the hardest part is just being able to find some people that already have that knowledge, and lean on them a little bit more before you start. When I started, I assumed I was the only person who had ever done this before, and kind of treaded my own way through it. Now that I'm in the industry, I reach out to so many other production managers, plant owners, and whenever we have a question, it could be a simple thing. It could be, hey, how are you handling this time off for associates based off of COVID this year? Was a huge learning curve. We're not large enough to have an HR department, so we leaned on other customers. And I think if I started over again, I would lean more at the beginning than what I did. And then the growing your associates. When I first started, it was, okay, you're a mill operator, you're a lathe operator, you're a welder. The cross training has been huge, and I wish I'd have started it sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that's really important, especially, skilled labor in the manufacturing area industry is a hot topic right now because a lot of folks, there's a lot of movement there, and it places a high premium on having folks that can operate, multiple areas of your shop.
hmm and getting involved in the local tech colleges, the local high schools, and really grabbing that base before it disappears has been something that I didn't get into right away, but we really actively do. We have a training facility on site. We bring in high schoolers
Mm.
and tech, uh, I guess, level students, and
Mhm.
we let them train here. We've got simulators that they can actually make a part, do everything without actually crashing a machine. So I think it's really good. Even if only 1 out of 10 students decides this is the field they want to be in, it just having that exposure has been huge.
Absolutely. And now, have you had any that have ended up working for you? That'd be a
Well,
kind
quite a
of
few, quite a
That's
few.
awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
That's really cool. I think those co-op experiences are so important, especially as we try to, like I said, grow the skilled labor, workforce within the manufacturing industry. So
Mhm.
I did notice on your Facebook page, and we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, was the milled skull that you had
Yep.
for Halloween there. Have you done any other kind of cool parts like that, or do you want to tell us a little bit about that part?
Well, that was a test part for one of our master cam engineers, and he'd never done certain milling, so he wanted to try it out. And instead of me trying to pay him to struggle with a part, it's like, okay, what do you want to make? So he's a big Harley guy, and that actually ended up being a shifter for one of his Harleys. So
No
uh,
way. That's cool.
yep. Every year we do something unique. If you can kind of see behind me there, we've done wine glasses.
Yeah.
Uh, we've made, I don't know if they were on our webpage or not, we made some globes for one of our customers for pen holders.
Mhm.
So we're always trying to find that one thing that is kind of cool for people to do. We had a Walter show here, Walter Tooling.
Yeah.
Again, you probably have to remove the trademark, but we had the Walter people here, and we made tops, like a little spinny top.
Yeah.
And the people who came in the door, the local community, people who had never been around it, could put it in the machine, hit the button, they'd watch the lathe run it, pull it out. Hey, they'd made a part, and then they got
Yeah.
to take it home. So we try to give everybody a chance of that experience.
Which is such a satisfying experience, like watching the material being like, machined down.
Right.
It's a cool, visual image and a cool thing to be a part of. So
Yep.
now what I'm curious about, so sounds like you guys had a really interesting 2020 as everyone did, right?
Mhm.
But as we look forward to the future, is there anything that, any trends that you guys are kind of like currently interested in, or any type of processes you're looking to add, or what does the future look like for IKS?
Well, we're always looking to add processes. I'll be honest with you. Again, we've honestly started looking at curtailing to what is on your form. We're fairly well set for with our large customers, so we already have the equipment to kind of do everything that they're looking for. Now it's kind of the expand it and say, where can we expand? Where's the growth?
Yeah.
Without getting into something that you're so inept at that you're struggling with the first few runs. So this is always easier to make the part right and not lose the customer, because once you lose the customer, it's near impossible to get it back.
Yeah, it's tough to get them back.
And associates. I mean, just getting people trained up will be the new trend for the next 2 or 3 years, I do believe. Just that struggle.
Now, are you looking to like kind of standardize your training process? Is that what you're talking about? Or, is it more so just, having more people, hired on and bringing them on?
I think getting more people interested in the field and understanding how exciting it is. Again, based off of our conversation with Xometry, like the gentleman who did the skull, Matt, it was his first name. There's times when he'll get a print to quote, or kind of look at and see whether we're going to accept it on your board or not, and then he'll look at who it's from, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say names, but he's like, wow, we're making a part for a company we would never even think about. So they get to go home and tell their family and friends, hey, I made a part for this college, or I made a part for this manufacturer. And it's we're located about as close to Canada as you can get. We're up in northern Wisconsin, so we come from a county that doesn't even have a Walmart. So
yeah,
it for them, it's so exciting to kind of reach out to these places you never think you could work.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of the things that gets me excited about coming to work. When we see who's able to get connected to some of the brands that use us, it can be really exciting. I mean, you can be building a part for a rocket, like literally a rocket, what I mean? Or the latest, kind of automotive trend. And there's so many different parts, or, being a part of, some of the healthcare situations to solve, the pandemic. And so, a lot of that's really, really exciting. And so it's cool to talk to the other side of it, where it's exciting for you guys as well, so. That's awesome. So when we talk about some of the educational stuff, is that one thing I'm interested in is that it feels like there's some video education content, there's some books and written stuff. Is that really hands-on learning for you, or have you found some good things to kind of teach your associates on how to operate within your shop?
And again, we've been doing it for a while, so we do have our own in-house curriculum. And again, I sit on the boards for several tech colleges, so we do use some of the standards. I think the biggest thing is just getting, when I say younger people, I mean people underneath 30.
Yeah.
Into the field just to say, hey, try it. Be around a machine, see, and there's so much more to the field. Everybody just thinks it's going to be, making chips, and it's dirty, and it's. We work in a climate controlled building, clean rooms, nice uniform. I mean, so it's not what it used to be. It's not the oil and the grind that, everybody remembers this manufacturing being.
Yeah. There's a mental image of, the sooty face and, but, now it's truly, it's a high tech environment, which is really exciting. So if you're talking about getting younger people excited about the industry, what gets you excited about coming to work every day?
To me, it's a future for the associates. I mean, it is bringing a manufacturing facility to a small town, helping, what I would call middle America kind of keep its footing.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping manufacturing here is huge, so that we as a country continue to prosper. So,
yeah,
it's about watching a guy buy his first car. He's going to be making payments, but to have that ability, to get their first home and, and raise their kids. So, to me, it's more about the stability for the community than the process itself.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. I love how often you keep coming back to your associates and the importance there and the culture that you built at IKS, because it's so important no matter what industry you work in, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be excited and comfortable to come to work, and then that breeds a lot of good things within a company. So.
Yep.
Well, Don, man, this has been an awesome conversation. Now, if I want to, kind of pass you back the mic, if there's any, anything we missed that you want to talk on? No pressure there, but if so, kind of last thoughts for us.
No, I mean, I think you guys started down a good path last year. We did a few, I guess, like video conferences. So I think for anybody getting into this space, if they're going to get on Xometry, getting familiar with that is a big step. I know when we started with you, it was just learning kind of how your system worked. It was almost overwhelming at first, to see this board and all these parts.
Yeah.
So I think once you can get into it, your video and your community page that you guys have been developing has been getting better. And I think that's huge for anybody who gets into it now, is to lean into that. So one thing about Xometry, it's not like you guys say, okay, here's shop A, so shop B wants to come aboard, and you say, shop B, call shop A, they'll help through it. That particular text is not there. We have the ability to go to you guys and ask questions, but we don't have the ability on our side to know who our other shops are, or who our community is directly.
Yeah, so
good and bad. I mean,
yeah, so lean into some of the educational content, and I will tell you, one thing that is a major focus for us this year, and for all of our listeners as well, is that community aspect. We want to build and structure a way for you guys to be able to lean on us, but also like we said, you guys are the thought leaders within the space, and so leaning on each other and connecting each other, that's a huge focus for Xometry.
Problem is, some of us are old and we're not tech guys. Leading into the communities is not us. You won't find me on Reddit, so it's hard to get into your community.
So maybe it's a conference call every week, So yeah, no, Don, this has been fantastic, and thank you for slicing out some time in your busy schedule. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen, and good luck with the rest of your interviews.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm in Wisconsin. Or sorry. Okay. All right, have a good one, gentlemen.